Have you guys ever tried to use a Ford Ranger to shoot an advertisement, but ended up hooning it before you're supposed to actually film it, and then got it stuck, and then grabbed your buddy's Ford Ranger and tried to get your Ford Ranger unstuck by precisely pushing it in reverse, but end up getting stuck? You damaged their tailgate, and now you owe them money. Well, that's why today's video is sponsored by Cash App, because now I can send Kevin $20 to replace his tailgate. Cash App sponsored another video, guys, because they wanted me to remind you that you can get $15 for downloading Cash App today if you just use code YouTube. It's that easy. Cash App is a mobile app on your phone. You download it, you can send money to your friends. You can receive money from your friends, family, whoever. Not only that, you can buy stocks with it, Bitcoin. And I mean, guys, you're getting paid to download the app, 15 bucks. All you gotta do is use code YouTube. Thanks, Cash App, for sponsoring another video here at the Cleetus McFarland YouTube channel.
Hell yeah, brother. You're on the Cleetus McFarland YouTube channel.
Yeah, brother. Project Wedding Burnout is underway. Looking. Hey, thanks, brother. Appreciate you. All right, so we didn't want to do a burnout with these real grippy tires. It'll push, the front wheels will just kind of skid. So we got some older NT555 G2s we're going to be running for the wedding burnout. You know I got to roll Nitto from a wedding burnout. Got the C7. We're going to throw these C5Z wheels on. Let it rip. What you think about that, Buenos Dias?
Oh, I'm pretty fired up about that. I was wondering if you were going to do a burnout or not. No, I was wondering when and where you were going to do it.
Yeah, we might get kicked out, so we kind of need to wait till later. Like a NASCAR pit stop in the wedding parking lot. We're going to get it right. Honestly, not as ugly as I thought it'd be.
It blends right in, dude.
Yeah, let's go. Not as bad as I thought it would be. All right, cool. We're good. I could probably drive home on it.
Whoa, dude. Never even seen you looking this good.
Yeah, I know.
Talk about looking good.
Yeah,
man.
I have.
Give me that camera. Look at you.
Thanks, bro. Oh, practice burnout.
Practice burnout.
We're walking on thin ice as of now.
No more test burnout. Still.
Not exactly a racetrack.
Obviously, we're kind of at a nice place, so we got to time this right. Can't drink, but don't want to wait too long, but also want to wait long enough so that if we do get kicked out because of it, you know, we got to calculate.
We already had a good time. Yeah, I hear you.
So, because I can't drink and then do a burnout, you know what I mean? That's just dangerous. There's gonna be a lot of people around. Once the burnout's done, then we can party and have fun, but hopefully we don't get kicked out. So, you'll be with us tonight. Maddie knows about this. We'll see how it goes down.
What we also do too is get management outside, and if they start saying we're going to kick us out, we just run inside and lock them out.
We're not leaving!
We're not leaving! I'm not leaving! They're not inside. Word is management leaves at 7 p.m. We may be dialed, so we gotta wait around 7.
7:07.
All right, guys, I got all the boys' knives, Kershaw's. Ooh, look at that.
Flashy.
Let me see yours, Parker.
Yo, look at how sharp this thing is.
Dr. Mitchell.
My alter ego.
Yeah. Alright guys, figured I'd start this video off in the C7 like an OG Cleetus McFarland YouTube channel video way back in the day. Only those of you who were around for a very long time remember this style video. Basically, guys, when I started the channel, this was the only car I had, and I would make tons of videos where I started off just driving around in the C7 talking and coming up with whatever idea I could come up with on that day. And I'm just setting up some GoPros now, so we're gonna go to the shop and see the new floors. All right, let's start this thing up. Listen to that, dude. I'm gonna show you guys some stuff under the hood of the C7 too here in a minute. Spicy. Listen to how clean this thing idles. It runs absolutely perfect. All right, so guys, when we get to the shop, I'm gonna show you a couple things that have changed on the C7 as you know it. Basically, for you guys who don't know, this is my 2015 Corvette C7 Stingray that I got originally before I had the YouTube channel when I worked for 1320 Video. And I started the channel pretty much based on this car. And I used to drive it all the time. I used to daily drive it. It's got a Pro Charger, centrifugal supercharger on it. And it lasted forever. The stock engine did so good. And then when I bought the Freedom Factory, we shot a video introducing the track. And funny enough, my boy Nate, Dr. Tune'em-all, did a big burnout in it, which I asked him to do because we were shooting the intro video. Had to be epic. He did a huge burnout in it and blew the coolant tank. It was literally a humongous burnout. I don't even know if I have the footage anymore. But essentially, we ended up spinning a rod bearing that day, and that was the death of the stock engine. So now it's got a Texas Speed 427 in it. And ever since the car blew up originally, it has been so problematic. I mean, driving down the road and fuel lines breaking. Luckily, it didn't have a fire. Fuel pumps failing. High pressure fuel pumps failing because this is an LT engine. It was undrivable. It would not idle at stoplights. It would stall at stoplights. Pretty much anytime you rev the engine and then let off, it would stall. There seemed to be no end to the problems that I was having with the car. At one point, we even had to send the engine back to Texas Speed because we tried some prototype stuff. That didn't work out, but that's irrelevant. Other than that, it's been tune problems. We put the oil cooler in a terrible spot. That was a problem, but we never got the car right. And 2 months ago, I got so fed up with the C7. I tried to drive it to dinner with Maddie, and I got so fed up with it that I said, screw it. I'm sending this thing to the best LT shop in the country, which in my opinion is Cortez Performance. So I hit up my buddy Joe, the owner. I sent the car all the way to Arizona, and I got it back now. And I'm pretty sure it is the best tuned car I've ever driven. This car drives like completely stock, but makes over 1,000 horsepower on pump gas and can accelerate like this. To Cortez Performance, if I did one pull, this thing would overheat. One pull. And it's not that they changed the radiator or the oil cooler or anything like that. They just relocated some stuff and notched out some parts of the car that we never thought of. But because they work on Stingray Corvettes all the time, they knew all the tricks and they got this thing freaking dialed in. Now you look at the C7 back-to-back pulls, 180 degree coolant temp, and watch this. This is what really gets me. In a car like this with a big aftermarket supercharger, a lot of times they'll buck at idle, like rolling through a parking lot. Check this out, I can rev the car up, comes down to idle perfectly off the throttle, foot's off the throttle, perfectly down to idle every time. Before you had to kind of catch it and then rest it down to a really low idle. Watch this, first gear. No foot on the gas, just let off the clutch. Car drives away, no bucking, nothing like that. Shift second, same thing. Car drives perfect, shift third. I mean, you don't get this in high performance cars unless someone sits in the car and tunes it for hours. We're in fourth gear now. I could probably go to fifth. At idle, it's idling. The car is insane now, dude. It works, it drives so good. All right, we're here at the shop though. Let's go look at the floors and then I'll show you what's under the hood, what's new. All right, guys, you can see we got a little bit of a small disaster going on out here outside the shop. I'm gonna walk you through this process. Right here, we have grinded up concrete. These guys were in here grinding concrete and vacuuming up this concrete dust for days, just getting the floor level, filling the cracks and making sure the surface was ready for the epoxy. All these bags, all those bags. And then after they got the whole shop floor prepped, which oof, you can see she's looking dialed, they went ahead and used this Cleetus top shelf epoxy. This is the base coat, so you can see it's a nice light gray. You guys know I like the grays. This stuff bonds with the concrete, gives you your base layer. And then, see over yonder, we got a heavy flake coverage on the floors here. And there was about 900 pounds of this flake that went down on the shop floor, and it's a full coverage flake. So the reason I did that is I did the shops personally with Jeremy at our shop in Clearwater, and we did no flake. We just did epoxy with the top coat on it, and it was so slippery. If it was raining and you didn't have the right shoes on, you would fall in the shop. It was definitely a slipping hazard. It was so smooth. It looked good, but it was so smooth. I mean, any water, it was super slick, and it rains every day in the summer here. So I went with a textured floor because I wanted to be safe for the guys, and also the cars won't slide around. And then being that it's flake, it doesn't show as much crap, you know, if there's a little bit of dirt and, you know, things like that on the floor. You can't see it immediately. It looks just a little bit better. And then after this goes down, over yonder, you guys won't believe this. One of these 5-gallon buckets costs $600 to $700. So this is polyspartic top coat. So you got part A there, part B here. And this is what goes on top. So this is a protective layer. This is all still wet because he's applying it right now, but this is a top layer that goes on, keeps the floor from yellowing, makes it so it's not susceptible to chemicals, because obviously we're gonna be spilling oils, things like that. But it protects the floors from pretty much anything. Super expensive, but worth it because, you know how these guys are. One day it could be methanol on the ground, the next day it could be oil, the next day diff oil. I mean, you just don't know. So we got the best of the best as far as that goes. The materials for this job alone were like $14,000. So pretty expensive for just the materials, but it's coming out great. This is your little preview until it's all finished up. Can't wait to show you guys the final product. Now it seems like we need some better lighting in here. All right, guys, so taking a look at the outside of the C7, everything's the same. Here we have the Corvette performance sticker. Small little addition to what they did. That's their first thing that they changed, those. They put that sticker on. All right, check it out under the hood. You can see over here, we got a brand new charge pipe. So they fabbed up a whole new charge pipe because one of the biggest problems we had was the mass airflow sensor was up front on the Pro Charger kit. There's a tube up here for the air to water intercooler, and the charge pipe runs along the front of the car. Well, this mass airflow sensor being so far up in the front of the car and so far away from the throttle body was giving them a lot of trouble tuning it. And that's just something we would have never known, but these guys knew it needed to be up near the throttle body. Not to mention, we kind of had a ghetto methanol system, and they definitely went ahead and tidied up the methanol system. Now that we have a metal charge pipe right here, they went ahead and installed it right in the pipe. We had these in the boots. I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of ghetto. We were also having issues with the C7 having too much blow by with the big 427. We added more catch cans, but that didn't do it. We still do have a bigger catch can right here from Corvette, but we also have Motion Raceworks LT valve covers. See the little Cleetus logo right there, dude. And those things work so damn good. Haven't had to empty the catch can, been doing lots of pulls. She's running dialed in now. And then on top of that, we have a Corvette Performance overflow tank for the radiator, which the stock one of these exploded in this car. You know, with so much heat under the hood, the plastic stuff just was not working for us. So Corvette switched that out. And then over here, we had no real intake on this thing. I mean, we kind of fabbed one up, but it wasn't really the best situation. So guys at Corvette went ahead and made this pipe. Got a big old air filter on here now. We were running no filter, kind of sketchy. And this filter will actually allow the car to suck in as much air as it needs, and then we can actually pull that pipe off if we're racing it at the drag strip or something. I really don't dig the fact that the radiator fan just blows hot air right into the Pro Charger if you don't run one of those. The one we had kind of sucked too, so I'm really happy Corvette made a cold air intake. It's not really a cold air intake, but it's at least away from the radiator itself. And then I don't know how much time their tuner spent on tuning this car, but what you should do is go over to the Corvette YouTube channel, which is linked in the description below, and watch the video from when they got the car and just listen to it idle. And then they showed after they tuned it and listened to it idle then. The difference is insane. These guys spent so much time getting this thing right, and you can just tell it was done by a professional. Let me start her up, get it fired up for you guys. Everything is sounding so much better, so much happier. So excited, guys. So happy to have my Ripper back. Everything works. Also, guys, that is most definitely not a complete list of what Cortez did to the car. There's also a totally different Pro Charger bracket on the car. I was already having some belt issues because it was misaligned. They fixed all of that. Really, you got to go over to their YouTube channel to see the entire process of what they did to get this thing right, but it is actually truly right now. To be honest, with how many problems the C7 has had, I had only driven the thing about 50 miles in the last 2 years until I got it back. So I was so skeptical that the car was not gonna break on me when I drove it that I didn't make any videos about it. I drove it for about 3 weeks now. I've had it back, and it has not given me a single problem. That's why it is so easy for me to promote Cortez right now, because they did such a freaking rock solid job, shipped the car back, and it's just been amazing. So I'm really happy with it, guys. I really am. After all, this car is what started the channel. I mean, it was there for us in the beginning. For those of you who have ridden out this last 5 years, you know this car was the only thing I could make content off of. And I made some of my worst videos with it. Turbo whistles in the exhaust, I mean, that content, not very good, but hey, it got me to where I am today, so I gotta leave it posted. And I mean, really, it does sound amazing. I mean, sounds so cool, looks amazing. It's a great car, so pumped to have it back. Shout out to my boys at Cortez Performance. I'm gonna end it off there, guys. Thanks for watching New for Dale. We'll freaking see you later. Hey guys, I also wanted to shout out the guy who's doing the epoxy. His name is Nick. He's based in Texas. If you need something, hit him up. Just shout him out because he did the job by himself and it was a big job. So that is his email.